practice. The practice of the Pure Land Way is the great practice that embodies Amida's perfect benefiting of others. It is revealed in the vow that all Buddhas praise the name, also known as the vow that all Buddhas say the name. It may further be called the vow of the right act, which is Amida's directing of virtue for our going forth. Amida's directing of virtue to beings through the power of his primal vow has two aspects: the aspect for our going to the Pure Land and the aspect for our return to this world. Regarding the aspect for going forth, there is great practice. There is pure Shinjin. The great practice is to say the name of the Tathagata of unhindered light. This practice, comprehensively encompassing all practices, is perfect and most rapid in bringing about birth. Hence, it is called great practice. Saying the name, then, effectively breaks through all the ignorance of sentient beings and readily brings all their aspirations to fulfillment. Saying the name is in itself mindfulness. Mindfulness is Nembutsu. Nembutsu is Namo Amida Butsu. The passage teaching the fulfillment of the vows in the larger sutra states, quote, "All the Buddha Tathagatas throughout the 10 quarters, countless as the sands of the Ganges, are one in praising as surpassing conceivability the majestic power and the virtues of the Buddha of immeasurable life. Sentient beings, as they hear the name, realize even one thought moment of Shinjin and joy, which is directed to them out of Amida's sincere mind, and aspiring to be born in that land. They then attain birth and dwell in the stage of non-retrogression." Close quote. Further, the sutra states, quote, "The Buddha said to Maitreya, 'If there is a person who, having heard the Buddha's name, leaps and dances with joy, and says it even once, know that this person receives the great benefit. That is, he is possessed of the unexcelled virtues.'" Close quote. Bodhisattva Nagarjuna states in the commentary on the 10 Bodhisattva stages, quote, "If a person aspires to attain quickly the stage of non-retrogression, he should, with a reverent heart, hold steadfast to and utter the name. When a person doubts as he plants roots of good, the lotus in which he gains birth will not open. But for one whose Shinjin is pure, the flower opens, and immediately he sees the Buddha." Close quote. Bodhisattva Vasubandhu states in the treatise on the Pure Land, quote, "O world-honored one, single-heartedly I take refuge in the Tathagata of unhindered light, filling the 10 quarters, and aspire to be born in the land of happiness. Relying on the sutras, in which the manifestation of the true and real virtues is taught, I compose a gatha of aspiration for birth, in compressed form, in accordance with the Buddha's teaching. Contemplating the power of the Buddha's primal vow, I see that no one who encounters it passes by in vain. It is able to bring quickly to fullness and perfection the great treasure ocean of virtues." Close quote. With these passages from the sacred words of the Buddha and from the treatises, we know in particular that the great practice is not a foolish being's practice of directing his merit toward the attainment of birth. It is the fulfilled practice that Amida directs to beings out of his great compassion, and therefore is called not directing virtue on the part of beings. This practice indeed embodies the primal vow in which the Nembutsu is selected and adopted. It is the supreme, all-surpassing universal vow. It is the true and wondrous right Dharma that is the one vehicle. It is the unexcelled practice that perfectly embodies all good acts. The word even in the passages from the larger sutra is used to indicate an upper or lower limit, while omitting what is in between. In the second passage, saying the name once indicates single-heartedly practicing the Nembutsu. Single-heartedly practicing the Nembutsu is a single utterance. A single utterance is saying the name. Saying the name is constant mindfulness. Constant mindfulness is right mindfulness. Right mindfulness is the true act that brings about birth in the Pure Land. Further, even saying the name once in no way refers to one thought in contemplation on the Buddha's virtue, or to one utterance in repeated recitation of the name. As the first passage shows, even one thought moment refers to the ultimate brevity and expansion of the length of time in which one attains the mind and practice, that is, Shinjin and Nembutsu, that result in birth in the Pure Land. Let this be known.